Groundhog Day, February 2nd, 2024. I'm John Lee, St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association, here with Jim and Laura from our board. And we got a few more coming in. Lloyd's out of town right now, and he'll be back, should be back at the end of the month. Today we are very fortunate to have Miss Katharyn Davis to give us some updates. Our local attorney that we've come to value so much. She's actually the reason we started these things a couple of years back. And we're just very appreciative of her and always love to see her smile when she comes in. She's back off of well-deserved rest relaxation tour. So Kathie, I'll just let you, if you want to fill us in on anything.
Hey, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. It looks like our weather is going to start to get a little warmer. I saw today on the news that Punxsutawney Phil predicted that we're going to have an early spring. So hopefully hopefully the groundhog is correct. I wanted to tell you something that is just very recent. I don't know if any of you watch Channel 4, but last night they had a quote unquote expose about evictions on Channel 4. And they were going after an attorney named Randall Reinker, who's a friend of mine, and I consider him to be a good lawyer. I don't do everything the exact way that he does it, but that's why there's more than one of us. Everybody has a different way to do. But they were saying things, how they kind of jump things up. They take people out at court, they take people out into the hall to a side room, and they show these little conference rooms we have, or a bench, and they put like this bench label on this bench. Well, yeah, we take them out into the hall to talk to them because the judge doesn't want all that din inside the courthouse. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. The thing that I consider the most concerning about this, and you can look at the Channel 4 website and you can see this story, and they're going to have a sequel tonight, I think, on the Channel 4 news. But the thing I think that's most concerning about this is the way some lawyers represent landlords at evictions is they take the rent in themselves and they keep a percentage of it and send the rest to the client. We don't do that at my firm. I don't think it's a good practice, but there are some lawyers who do that. And some of them will say that the attorney's fees are part of the rent. And because they're keeping a percentage of the rent that they're collecting a lot more attorney's fees than might be considered reasonable. Really, the law says that you can only evict someone if they haven't paid the rent or the court costs. You can put some of those other costs in the judgment, but you can't evict them for those. So if they pay the rent, they basically get to stay in a rent and possession. The other thing that they seem to be targeting, and Randall has been sued for the eviction practices along with one of his clients. The other thing that they seem to be targeting is rent portals, where tenants are told to pay their rent through a portal. I don't know how many of you are using those portals. I understand that a reason for using them might be convenience for everybody. Everybody's doing things on the web now, right? And we have had over my career instances where people, employees at apartment complexes have stolen rent. Told the person they had to pay in cash and then kept the money, and maybe not given a receipt, or maybe given a receipt. I don't know. But, we can usually tell right away because we get people in court who have evidence that they've paid and the landlord doesn't think they have. And, then it's a big mess. So I understand the portals, but some people that have these portals, some landlords will turn the portal off if they send them to eviction. We don't think you really need to do that. You can keep taking the money. You can keep taking the money through the portal. If it's an unlawful detainer where we want them out no matter what, we're going to tell you not to accept rent in any fashion. And then you might want to turn the portal off. But the law even allows you, if you accept rent in an unlawful detainer, you may have created a new tenancy. However, if you accept rent through an automatic payment system in an unlawful detainer, and then when you realize that it was accepted by an automatic system, you refund it right away, then you're going to be okay. So I urge all of you to have those portals to consider not shutting them off when someone has been sent for eviction. If it's a rent in possession, they get to pay the rent and stay under the law. So you really shouldn't be refusing rent. And if they pay a partial payment, That doesn't stop you from proceeding until they've paid in full. That's why Christine and Chris in my office try to get hold of everybody the day before court, just say, give us an updated ledger, tell us what the balance is now, that kind of thing, so that we can be accurate on the day of court with what the person owes. I really like it when someone sends us a ledger very close to court, because then the person comes in and they have all these payments that they think they've made. And I show them the ledger and say, show me on the ledger, where you're missing, where you think there's a payment that you made and where it's missing. And they generally can't do that. They've just not been realistic in their mind about how far behind they are and how much they owe and that kind of thing. We are fairly modest for our attorney's fees, and we always get them approved by the court. In fact, I've had judges tell me that we should charge more. But while a person's still in possession, we would not keep a third of their rent as a fee. We wouldn't do that. We'll do that afterwards if we're pursuing them for collection, but we won't do that while they're still in the property. And I'm not sure that's a good practice. And it looks like, this other attorneys and landlords are getting sued for doing this. So I would urge caution with respect to that. You all probably know, I don't know if I need to mention his name, but there's another attorney who appears in the media a lot and says outrageous things, and he's getting sued multiple times, and he's gotten his clients sued. We try not to do that. No doubt we are aggressive. Have you met Christine? Christine is aggressive. We're not, I'm not going to say we're not sympathetic, because sometimes we are sympathetic to the tenants, but that doesn't mean we're not sympathetic to our clients more. Our duty is to our clients, and we're going to do that duty, but we don't need to do it in a mean way or an aggressive way that will draw attention and draw a lawsuit. We can be just as effective being polite to people in court, giving them a trial setting if that's what they want, and that kind of thing. And I think our strength is that we are very accurate with what we have in court, what the monies that are owed, and that kind of thing. And apparently there have been, in these other lawsuits where lawyers and landlords are getting sued, maybe there's allegations that rent was inaccurate and that kind of thing. They also said that Randall, when he took rent from the tenants, would put it in his lawyer trust account, like this was a shocking, horrible thing. That is our obligation. If we get money for someone, for a client, we have to put it in our trust account. That's required by the bar and that kind of thing. Sometimes if we get money, we'll turn it directly over to our client without going through the trust account. But if it's someone that we're gonna have to mail it to, or they're out of town, or it's cash and I don't want it in my office, we're going to put it in the trust account. That's exactly right. The Lauren Traeger on Channel 4 made that sound shocking, but it's really an appropriate way to behave. So I don't think Randall has really done anything wrong, but he's done some things that look wrong and that the media is exploiting. So you might want to get on your computers and pull up the Channel 4 website, and you can see this story. And like I said, they said there's a follow-up tonight at 6:00. So I don't think it's me, because nobody's called me, but we'll see who they're going after next or what they're doing. And we may have just moved into a time when we can't be, where we have to, handle things a little more delicately than we used to. Yeah, I need to retire, but I mean, I'm okay with that. I don't mind when I go to court on behalf of my clients. I don't mind talking to people in a polite way and that kind of thing. If they are not nice back to me, I set the case for trial. I mean, if I can't work something out, I'm going to set the case for trial. Then they can see how sympathetic the judge is going to be to them, when they start yelling at them. So that generally doesn't work. It doesn't work for anybody, including our former president. To yell at a judge or be disrespectful in the court and that kind of thing. And so we're going to try to continue to be low key and polite and not get sued and not get our clients sued. So I'll be interested to come back on next month and see if you guys have had a chance to watch those news stories and see what you think. But don't ever think that we're not on your side. We just might have to be nice. I fake it better than Christine, but it's kinder, gentler evictions, right? So that's my little lecture for today. In the courts, we seem to be just putting along. We have a fairly new judge in the city who is very slow and seems kind of tentative and gets flustered if a lot is coming at her at once. And we're hoping that she'll do better with experience. We have a situation in the county where a judge was promoted, and so we don't have a permanent judge right now. They're picking a new one, so different judges are filling in for us. That seems to be going well so far. We get along with all the judges, and they know that we show up on time and we're prepared, so we don't tend to get in trouble. But we're sort of in Judge of the Week club. Christine was very pleased to have Judge Ellen Dunn yesterday because a tenant showed up 45 minutes late for trial, and the judge just said, well, you're late, you know, I already took a default, too bad. And we were just like going, yes. Of course, we're there, but our client has to come for a trial. And if the person is late, our client is sitting there and they have better things to do too. So we were very pleased to have the judge take that position about someone who was drastically late. I think that for city landlords, the city doesn't seem to be real organized yet on their right to counsel. We've heard that legal services is going to be picking up that duty and that it's going to start July 1st. The thing that you should know right away, particularly if you do your own evictions or you use a different lawyer than us, God forbid, you should know that starting July 1st, I think you're going to need to send out a notice to your tenants that gives them the contact information for the free lawyers that the city is going to provide to them. And here is how, as soon as I get that contact information or handout or whatever it is, I will send it to John so it will be on your website for you to download and utilize. The thing that we've heard about how this is going to work is that legal services is going to do the work, and they're going to do it similar to the way it's being done in Kansas City. They will open up the phone lines on Monday morning, and like the first 12 tenants that call will get represented, and everybody else will have to roll over to the next week or go to court without a lawyer. So I don't think that's going to be too onerous. We'll see. We get along with the legal services attorneys for the most part. Christine was making Susan Alverson shake in court yesterday because she got mad at her, but for the most part, we get along with them. And, you know, we'll hope to make deals with them just as we do now. I think it's a huge waste of the city's money, and I doubt that they will administer the program efficiently or effectively, but we'll see how it goes. And I'll keep keeping you posted about how that's going to be. Okay. So any questions? Oh, let me look at the chat. There's some chat. Oh, somebody is somebody's AI is on, taking a transcript. Okay. Oh, Amber, thank you. She posted the link, I think, to First Alert 4. So hopefully you can watch that shocking video of people being evicted because they didn't pay, but they told the landlord they were going to pay, so they never should have had suit filed. If I had a dime for everybody who said, well, I was going to pay, I'd be back on my cruise ship.
It's actually funny because yeah, show me the money.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kathie. Boy, that's a lot going on right there.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to see you last month because I was, I don't know, in St. Thomas looking for turtles with a snorkel, but
They pay their bills though.
yeah.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, I appreciate this so much. You know, we always look forward to you coming on here and filling this in. Like I said, you know, at the beginning, you're the one that actually got us started doing this because we had some chat back and forth on our emails and with all the things with COVID and everything, you helped us set this up to talk every week about what was going on, and we appreciate your updates way more than you ever think. One thing do want to say is you were on a podcast a couple of days ago, and I want to share that link, which I'll share later, and we will watch the Channel 4. What is your contact information that you would like to give out, Kathie, just so we have that?
Our telephone number is 314-962-1115. As most of you probably know, Christine does the county evictions. Chris does the other counties. We are, and I do other weird stuff. We have a office mate named Donald Folk, who's not in our firm, but he shares space with us. And we have been so busy that we are going to start referring some things to him to help out. And first of all, I want to tell you that Donald does Illinois evictions regularly. We have never done them because none of us are licensed in Illinois, but he is. So if you have Illinois evictions, same phone number, 314-962-1115, and ask for Donald Folk, and he can help you out in Illinois. And we are also probably going to be giving him some of the housing court work, because we're just in court too much to cover all that. We got like what, 812 municipalities in St. Louis County. I mean, it's a lot of court. And also, I want to tell you that my daughter, Chris's wife, Bonnie Bosler, where is her phone number? She has gone to work for John Banjack at the Banjack Law Firm, and he also owns True Title. And so I am sending her a lot of things like lease drafting and title issues and that kind of thing. And Bonnie's phone number is 314-435-1061. She's a good lawyer. She worked for me for a while. Some of you might remember her. She went inside with Cushman and Wakefield for a while, where she did a lot of lease administration and that kind of thing. So she's got some strengths there that that I think are really going to be helpful to some of you guys. I definitely would have her review your lease and that kind of thing if you think that you need that. I think particularly with this right to counsel thing in the city that possibly could spread to other municipalities, you're really going to want to make sure your leases are tight and you have good stuff in there, like a jury trial waiver and attorney's fees for you and that kind of thing. So I know I talk about attorney's fees and jury trial waivers a lot, but those are going to be even more important, because if a tenant has a lawyer and the lawyer can request a jury trial to drag things out, they will do it. And a jury trial is expensive to try. It's a couple of days worth of paying a couple of attorneys. So it's not a cheap thing. Okay, a lease template for us to use. Bonnie, call her. I mean, I'm not sure what she does, but Chris has one too, but Chris is so busy with all the counties that he covers that, like I said, we're referring people to Bonnie. So she's Bonnie Bosler, 314-435-1061. Tell her mom told you to call her.
Okay, great. And I do have a copy of the lease that Chris shared with me last month,
Okay,
right before
good.
the trip. So if anybody wants to have the one you guys shared, I'd be happy to do that if you just ask me for it. So, wow. Thank you very much, Kathie.
Okay, friends.
Really, and I do just want to say that if you need any kind of attorney, Kathie is the one to talk to, because she's probably the most ethical attorney I've ever talked to. I know you're really respected by the judges, the ones I've seen, and I mean, the one of the keys in what you've touched on right now is to get your lease done right up front.
Yeah.
You're still not, it's not going to be a save all end all, because there are professional renters out there, which I have ran into a couple myself, that know how to play everything, and they'll take you down to the jury trial to spend as much money. And what happens most of the time is they're buying extra time and not pay. And then, things add up and your property doesn't get better. I'll just tell you that right up front. But Kathie is the one to get in touch with. We so much appreciate you, Kathie. You're just so invaluable to our whole area, and your firm is too. We just thank you very much.
I appreciate that so much. I remember when we started these, and Chris and Christine and I were in my conference room on my cell phone, and it probably wasn't that professional, but you guys have really grown this into a great, valuable thing. And there's one more thing. When I come back next month, I'm hopefully going to have more information about the Corporate Transparency Act and the responsibility to file that. You have this whole year to do it, but we don't want anyone to wait at the last minute. But we're working up some procedures on that and that kind of thing. And I think we'll be able to answer your questions next month about that.
Thank you. Well,
Okay.
we'll look forward to that.
Okay. See you later, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Kathie.
Have a great early spring.
Yes, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Okay. Well, there's some good updates. I look forward to some of them. Thanks for sharing that link, Amber. That'll be very helpful to get us started. And yeah, I'll also get that link of the podcast that she shared with us. So guess we can get started. Laura, would you like to mention our disclaimer here before we get started?
Will do. Good morning and welcome, everyone. First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Feel free to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you want to share into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have and need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, attorney, or accountants. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solution or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is Ask the Attorney with Ms. Katharyn Davis. Our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know.
Thank you, Laura. Let's see, John Collins, who is the person to review the lease? I believe the best person, like Katharyn just said, just get a hold of Bonnie Bosler, and her number is 314-435-1061. And we can, anybody else who would like that, we can share that, and I'll put that in the chat for you. Okay, anybody have anything they'd like to buy or sell today? I guess we can start right there. I see Sherry up there somewhere. I think I talked to Sherry the other day, and you might have a property in Missouri.
Yeah, I didn't know if I needed to raise my hand or if I could just jump in here.
We're pretty informal, and just go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So I am in Southwest Michigan. I've been wholesaling for 3 years now, and I had another wholesaler brought me a deal in Novinger, Missouri. So it's literally northeast corner of Missouri, almost kind of where Illinois comes together. It's a very small town of like 450 people. This particular seller's looking to downsize, get out. It's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath, needs a rehab job. Just looking to see if anybody is familiar with that area, knows anybody that is familiar with this area that could help. I put it up on Investor Lift, and that's where I got John's connection from. So I pretty much contacted everybody in there. I put it on the marketplace. I had a few hits on it, but they're not getting back with me. So when John told me about coming today, I thought maybe this is my last resort to try to get this property moved for this owner. So it's located at 504 Cole Street, Novinger. The only disclaimer too is the seller needs this money to move out, and so we could play this a different way. Give him, he's asking for 10 grand, so it's a 47.5 purchase price. So it could be a stipulator that, he gets 10 grand to move out, has 15 days to move out, the rest of the money gets held in escrow until he does move out. And, there could be a daily fee that comes off of his funds that he would get at closing if he's not out within the 15 days. So I'm trying to get creative on how we could structure it with him needing time to move out after, because he needs the money to get to another place.
Okay, and you said the price was 47.5, Sherry, and the now is it the owner occupant that needs the 10,000 to move out?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, is that in addition to the 47.5?
No.
Okay, that's included in that price.
Yep.
And this is a 5-bedroom?
It's a 5-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay. Yeah, how do you spell the name of the city? I know when we talked the other day, I had to have my wife help me with that.
So it's Novinger. I researched it. It's like an old like train coal town, I think. So like I said, I even reached out to some realtors, and they don't want to work with wholesalers on the deal. So I tried that to reach out to a local wholesaler that have a couple properties listed on the MLS, and they don't want to work with me. So just trying to help this deal get to the closing table. We got an extension 2 weeks on it, so literally like we have until February 6th, like 4 more days, you know, if we had a buyer in place and had something in place, we could extend the closing, I'm sure, with him knowing that we have a buyer to the table. But pretty much if I don't come up with something or a buyer this weekend, we're probably just gonna send him a cancellation.
Okay. And how close is this to actually to Kirksville? Do you have any idea? Because I know that's a
Yeah,
college
it's about
town.
10-15 minutes to Kirksville.
10, 15 minutes. Okay. And being 5 bedrooms, I don't know what's involved with with the occupancy there, but that's a possible, maybe a student type housing situation if it's not that far from college there.
Yeah, so the HVAC is 8 years old, the roof is 8 years old. Back on my notes here. I can shoot the picture link in the chat if anybody's interested in. It's on a 1/4 acre, built in 1955.
Okay, yeah, that'd be helpful. And also your contact information, Sherry, if you don't mind saying it verbally and then putting it in the chat, that could be very helpful.
Yeah, so my name is Sherry Lash, SHERILASH. I thought it was already in there all the time. And my number is 269-214-0697.
Okay.
And I'm looking for the. Just add them.
Okay. Do you have an email address also that you use, Sherry?
Yeah, so it's BIGPONDREI@gmail.
Yeah. Okay. And if you don't mind putting that in the chat also, that helps a lot.
Or used to be in there where I'm from.
Okay. Very good. Well, Sherry puts that in there. Anybody else? It looks like Tiffany, you might have something. You got a client looking for a 2-bedroom in St. Charles. Are you able
Yes,
to
sir.
mute yourself there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Great. So client looking for a 2-bedroom, doesn't matter if it's an apartment, townhome, house, whatever's available in the St. Charles area, looking to move in around the end of May or 1st of June. If anyone knows of anything coming available around that time frame, if you could please let me know. My cell phone number is 636-299-0085. And my email address is T like Tiffany, Barnhart, BARNHART, Homes, HOMES, @gmail.com.
Okay. And you said St. Charles. Is there any certain price range they're looking at, Tiffany? Is this for how many people, I guess, is another question.
2.
2 people? You might have said that. Okay. And is there any price range
And
you're looking at?
they would like to stay under 12 if possible. And they asked for St. Charles or Fort Zumwalt School District if possible. Would be their preference, is what they said.
Zoom all. Okay, that's very helpful. We can kind of narrow that down a little bit. Thank you.
Now they would be open to others, just that would be their first pick,
Sure.
is what they had. That's what they had requested.
Okay, great. All right, and that's into May, beginning of June. So that's a little bit of time, but I'll tell you, it'll be here before you know it.
Right. Just in case anybody has, any leases coming up around that time frame, I would definitely have somebody willing to move in then. So you wouldn't even have to worry about advertising anything.
That's actually a good time too, because that's when I know a lot of us schedule our leases to come up around then, because that's when a lot of people move right right after school before the next year. So that's a good time. We do
And
have a lot of people too, a lot of landlords that deal in St. Charles.
great. And just in case, if the time frame needed to be adjusted a little bit, please don't let that stop you from reaching out. We can work something out if we need to. Okay.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Great. All right, there's a good opportunity for a landlord coming up if you want to get your place rented before advertising. I always like that too. Referrals seem to be the best. I know dealing with people and just having good relationships has helped me farther along than a lot of things I've ever done. So that's why we're here.
I can also say I've known this individual for years, for over 10 years, and I can vouch for them personally.
Well, that's even a lot further reference than I've seen in a long time. That's very good. Thank you, Tiffany.
My pleasure.
Yeah. For 10 years. Okay. And you got your information in the chat also. Okay, excellent. And Sherry's got hers in here. Okay, Cole Street. Yeah, 504 Cole Street, Novinger. I have to say I've never heard of that, but it's I'm sure it's a nice little town. There's a lot of them like that. We're sitting down here at Mine Lamont, Missouri right now, which a lot of people's never heard of. So all right. A couple of good opportunities to get us started there. Anybody else have anything like to share? Anybody buy, sell, looking to trade anything possibly? I had a guy this week contact me over on the other side of the Lake of the Ozarks with some, I think it was 8.5 acres or something like that. He's wanting to trade for some, he was supposed to send me some more information, but he's wanting to trade for something. Okay, and Steve, you're asking for what's the best result-oriented place to advertise house for rent? You can unmute yourself, Steve, if you want to tell us about it. I don't know, where is your house? Okay, you might not be able to unmute today. I know sometimes
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. Sure.
Okay. The house is in St. John. It's coming up in about a week or two.
Okay.
And it's 3-bedroom, 1 bath. Looking for $1,250 a month.
Okay. Well, 50. Okay.
Basement have a family room.
All right. And that's St. John's?
Yes.
All right. And okay, what's the best way to get a hold of you there, Steve?
I can give a email ssatdesh@aol.com. That's Sam Apple Tom DESH@aol.com.
Okay. And are you able to put that in the chat for us also?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay, that's very helpful because if you're like me, I write down stuff and then I end up leaving off the last letter, number, or something a lot of times when I'm writing fast. So it's always good if I can read it. So excellent. And let's see.
Hey, John.
Yes, Amber.
Hey, I have the same question. I have a rental that is coming up on the 12th. The tenant actually already moved out. He started his lease early at another place. But yeah, I've had a for rent sign out front, but obviously because of the weather, I haven't had a lot of traffic. I've put it out, I want to say on Zillow and maybe a couple other places. But same question, what is probably the best avenue for renting a unit? I guess, where are people finding success renting units? Where should I advertise?
Well, anybody have anything they'd like to say on that? I know we haven't done rentals in a while, but we use, I've always used Craigslist and had fairly good luck. I know Stacy, you guys rent a lot. What do you normally do if you don't?
Yeah. So we use a thing called Show Mojo. I'm fairly certain we pay for it, but it blasted out to like 50 different websites. But I would say the most responses and leads we get are from Zillow and then Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of spam on Facebook, so be careful with that, but we do get a lot of leads when you go on Facebook and list it for rent there. And as a realtor, I have a love-hate relationship with Zillow, but we do get a lot of leads from Zillow.
Okay, there's some,
I would like to second Facebook Marketplace, though it's secondhand. Our property manager puts, put up stuff on Facebook Marketplace. You will get a bazillion inquiries. It's not necessarily a lot of, all quality. You got to really sort through them. But they kind of sort themselves out if you use, like in our case, our property manager uses Rent Ready. So like, if they don't apply, he just tells people to, come look, and if they're interested, apply. And he does open houses and whatnot. So you will get a ton of leads from that. Not necessarily, I guess it's, I don't know where you would go to get only the quality ones. But that's the best, like, as far as like volume wise of people that would be interested. Marketplace seems to be the biggest one. Again, secondhand though.
thank you, Renee. That's very helpful.
Marketplace
Yeah,
is
and
like the new Craigslist, essentially, I think.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And curious, do you all mark your pictures with a watermark? Just because I'm not against the marketplace. I use it for a lot of different things. But when it comes to my properties, I'm more concerned with all that's happening in the world that someone will take my property or the pictures and do something facetious with it. So do you put watermarks on your pictures?
We do, yeah. We put it manually on Facebook, and we'll have but once we put it on Show Mojo, it automatically puts our like logo and name on the picture. So we'll just copy those photos and use those on Facebook. But we do, yeah.
That's some great tips right there too, because I did have somebody one time take some of my pictures and advertised my my property for sale through him, and I could not go back and get it off of Zillow and reclaim it until he let that go. So, which was very interesting. I talked to the guy one time, and without even a contract, he decided it was his. And so, I don't know, a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. And the best thing probably is to have a property manager. I know Renee kind of talked about that too, but Stacy is just, Jim's up there shaking his head, because unless you want to be a professional and do it yourself, I would highly recommend letting a professional do it, because it just, I've talked about it before. I've done some by myself and with a property manager, and my life went smoother. I'll put it that way. I can't answer for you, but my life went smoother with the property manager than it did go without one. All right, I see. Yeah, Steve, you got your information in there. Very good. Thank you. Let's see here. Cipriano, you have a friend looking to sell a place. You want to unmute yourself? Are you able to do that and tell us about that down in Benton Park? Maybe not. I know sometimes we're driving or things happen or we're at work. I'll read that here. Cipriano has a good friend looking to sell his Benton Park home. He doesn't have the energy to do the rehab that he wanted to do. It's 1908 Sydney Street. And it's not listed yet. If you're interested, feel free to contact me. And your number is 314-504-4809. And you got your email in there. It's cipriano.medina@gmail.com. And you're also looking for a 3-bedroom mixed use building in Maryland Heights, Overland U City area, to jump off for another meeting. Okay, yeah, I understand that. I appreciate you coming in. I just if a little bit more information usually helps though. Like, your friend, if you could tell us a little bit more about the home, what maybe, if you know any of the scope of the rehab, if it's, brick frame, how many bedrooms, how much money he wants for it. I know prices are all over that. I know a lot of us kind of think that, that we just have people get a hold of us, but the more specific you can be, the better off you're going to be, as far as, I watched a thing the other day where and I believe this 100%, where they say the riches are in the niches. So the more specific you can be, I know a lot of us too, as investors, we just say we invest in real estate and get a hold of us. But, if you can just say, I specifically deal in Benton Park area and I deal with price ranges and I'm looking for properties 100 to 1,000 to 100, to 195 and a certain scope of rehab, things like that. The more specific you can be, the better off you are going to be, because it's always good to just kind of get rid of people up front that's not really your customer. We went to a networking event not too long ago, and the lady sold this one actually Fred Miller was telling us about. She sold windows, replacement windows, but her little spiel was the same thing on everybody she met. It was like a meet and greet. Well, half the people there lived in apartments. They don't have a need for windows, but you sit there telling people about it. Well, you just want to kind of narrow that down. I'm looking for homeowners that need to replace their windows, things like that. So I don't know, that's just a little tidbit, but the more specific you can be on any kind of properties you're looking for or you have for sale, the better off you're going to be. With very specific, we'll just narrow it down, and that'll get you closer to who you really want to deal with. So save you some time, save them some time. All right. What else? Does anyone, okay, Leslie's asking, does anyone know of a quality property manager around Rolla for homes in Bell, Missouri? I don't know, Stacy or Dave, do you have anything to say about that? You guys are more multi-state areas than a lot of us here.
I do not know anyone in Rolla. Dave might, but he had to hop off. He had another meeting to get to. So I can ask him, Leslie, if you want to send me your email, I can ask Dave if he knows anybody, and if he does, I'll email you.
Okay, does anybody else know anything? I personally don't. I like the area down there. Been there many times.
Sometimes too, it's called NARPM, National Association of Residential Property Managers. If you go on their website, you can search the area, and sometimes not all property managers are part of that, but some of the more reputable ones are. So you might be able to find someone around that area from that website too.
Oh, that's great. What was that called, Stacy?
NARPM, NARPM, National Association of Residential Property Managers.
Okay,
It's a mouthful.
that's great. Very helpful. And you want to just while you're talking, Stacy, you want to just tell us a little bit about your service? I know you guys have a couple different areas you cover, and maybe share your information with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey everyone, Stacy Lowe. I am a licensed realtor in Missouri. I am local to St. Louis. Our company, Soto Property Solutions, specializes in property management. We have two different offices, one in St. Louis and then one in Cape Girardeau. And we will pretty much manage anything between St. Louis and Cape Girardeau. Closer to the river, east side of the state. We do everything for you when it comes to your investment properties and finding tenants and placing tenants and screening them and marketing. And we hold the security deposit. We do move in and out inspections. We oversee and handle all of the maintenance. We're on call 24/7. And we do all of your accounting every month, as well as end of the year for tax preparation. So the only time you're going to hear from us is when you're getting paid monthly or if there's a major issue. So we do everything for you with your investment properties. If you're interested in services, give me a call or email, and we can go from there and discuss everything. My phone number is 305-3380. I'm extension 311. And then my email is Stacy, STACY, at Soto, SOTOPS.com. I'll put that in the chat as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Stacy. We appreciate you. You're always so valuable as far as bringing us good information to help us. We appreciate that very much. Thank you. All right. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share today? I had just a couple announcements. I forgot to, well, we kind of got tied up. I didn't really forget. They're over here. But does anybody have anything they'd like to share with us today? And then I'll just kind of wrap it up with a couple things. Thank you. Okay. There's a lot of good information. We will have the replay. It'll be on YouTube tonight, and it's usually on the website by Monday, depending on the webmaster, what they have to do. If I can get it over there early enough today, they usually get it up before the weekend. Otherwise, it's in the member section on Monday. So, and that's one reason we always like you to say stuff verbally as well as put it in the chat, so that way you have because you can always stop the replays and go back and listen to them and get in. Write down the information that you need to get. And you can also listen to them faster. One of the things I know I got information overload these days. So I listen to most of my podcasts and everything at 150 or 175% of the original. So that helps a lot. Yeah, Jay's a private money lender. Hey, Jay, I do got to say that you are a much better looking guy in person than you are on your on your little picture there, because we're friends on Facebook now, and I was just saying, man, he's a good-looking guy. Not that I'm interested that way. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying, my wife's up there laughing, so I'm already taken. So don't worry about that. But yeah, Jack, you like to say a couple words about your private money link? Feel free.
Yeah, John, I'm a private money lender. I specialize in fix and flips, fix and keeps, and refi and reboot. So you can you can contact me by going to my email at j@Roman, ROHMAN, RomanNationwidehouses.com. And there was a question that was posted to me a couple of weeks ago about a refi and reboot. And really, that's the same thing. They are the same thing. They just worded differently. So if you want to refinance your home and reboot your mortgage, then that you're buying a house for and reselling, then that's fine. We can do that as well.
Okay, and what's the qualifications for the reboot or refi, Jay? What actually are you looking for as far as requirements?
Well, there's really no requirements. It has to do with the value of the property. Your experience as an investor will determine what the rates are going to be and how much you're able to borrow. Usually we borrow 80% and you provide 20% unless you've got experience, and then we can do at least up to 100%. So it's going to be up to the market, how much you plan on making, and your experience as an investor.
Okay, and are there any seasoning requirements for, say, if you have a fairly new property, let's say you bought one and then did some you did some rehab on it, and then you want to go back and maybe refi or reboot it? Is there any seasoning requirements as far as, I know some lenders we used to deal with had like 12 months or something like that. Is there anything like that, Jay?
No, there isn't.
None. Okay. All right. And what about purchase then? Is there what are you looking for there?
Well, you have to have the property under contract for us to consider an application.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. And I know that's always that's a good point anyway, too, because you do want to have the property under contract. I've been in some other groups before where they'll bring stuff there, but if you don't have it under contract, it's just all hypothetical, and you can, you can just say anything you want about that. And we're just kind of beating the bush, beating around the bush with some of that kind of stuff. If you have it under contract, and I would always have a contingency clauses in there anyway. One of the things that's, that I always like to have it in there, it's based on approval of partners. And that's something I know a lot of people use the 10-day inspection clause and all that kind of stuff. I just like to have it kind of wide open myself. I've personally never walked away from a contract, but I'm usually pretty clear and pretty sure that I'm going into it. So, you know, there are some things you can do to protect yourself, just like, you know, Kathie was saying, you know, there's some clauses you really need to have in your lease agreements, and there definitely are. So the more you know up front, the better off you are going to be, but especially when you are buying houses too. So make sure you have those under contract, then get a hold of Jay, or, you know, or one of the lenders that come in here, and or one of the money people, and just see what your you know, see what your availability is. So thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
And it looks like Sherry had to drop off. Yeah, that was interesting. I talked to her the other day. Very interesting in Novinger, Missouri, which I've never heard of, but it looked like a nice little town up there. So I don't know if anybody wants to branch out. We do have people that come in from all over, so somebody might be it might be a great opportunity for somebody. The cost is definitely not too far out of line. So anybody else have anything they'd like to share today? A lot of good things going on. I will get Kathie's podcast out there too, because I know that's something I wrote. She did a podcast the other day that I'd like to take a look at myself. Just a couple announcements that I'd like to mention for the REIA. St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association, the very first lunch that we're going back to starts on Monday, and that's at Applebee's at Olive and 270. That's at 11 o'clock. That's Monday, February the 1st from 11 to 1. So anybody interested in going there? I know we had breakfast for a while, and a lot of people had a hard time making it for that. So they're starting that up, and it's going to be the first Monday each month. So February the 5th is this Monday. Our main event this February 20th at the Moolah Shrine Center. We're going to have Chris Cleowine. He's a master wholesaler in St. Louis. He's probably done, I don't know, probably more wholesale deals around town than anybody I've ever met. There may be more, but I don't know if anybody is as knowledgeable as him. He's done a lot of other things. If you want to go read a little bit more about him, go to the website that is on there now. But he will come on about 7 o'clock. The doors open on February 20th at 6:30 for networking and kind of meet and greet. We'll kind of get our seats and get some drinks and refreshments. Also want to mention the circus coming up on March 21st through the 24th. That's the Moolah Shrine Circus. We're going to be a sponsor again. We're going to have a suite there, and we will have some tickets coming up on in probably the March meeting right before that, because our March main event is the 19th of March, which brings me to go ahead and mention our speaker is Brad Sumrock. I don't know, some of you I know seen him the other night on the mortgage or the apartment forecast this year. He's the apartment king. If you didn't watch Brad, I would highly recommend that you do watch that replay. He's very data driven with the strategies he does. He's probably the best in the world at this. And he's putting together a special presentation just for us. And he will be virtual. He will not be here in person, but he does have 3 live events that he is doing this year. So if you're interested at all in finding out about apartment investing, and this is larger apartments. This is not your 2 and 4 family. This is more, 30 plus on up. I think the first one he ever bought was a 32 unit, if I remember right. But he has some great information. He's very data driven. He was an engineer by trade, so I know a lot of our members can kind of relate to that. And the stuff he does is all it's strictly by numbers. Anything else? I don't see anything else. Appreciate Katharyn Davis again coming in, our attorney, the attorney. These are always invaluable sessions. Again, she's the one that helped us start all this back a few years ago. And we're getting ready to wrap up our 4th full year. We'll be starting our 5th year. We have not missed a Friday yet, and I don't see us missing any in the future. The good and bad is even out here where I used to not even get my cell phone service. I'm sitting on the porch and I'm on the meeting. So there's no excuses. So as long as I'm breathing, we'll be out here.